The 60-day 2014 legislative session just began. Do you foresee the legislature adjourning on time or heading into another special session?
Well, there are two things I think that could stall things. One is a transportation package, but I don't think my constituents or the majority of the people in the state are willing to go for the large tax increases or the fees that the proposals that I've seen promote. Also, I don't think that I've seen progress that we need to make on the reforms to bring the costs down. So that could be one sticking point, but I don't think it's going to proceed. The other one is the court just ordered that the legislature raise education funding. It's an interesting thing because I think that there is a separation of powers issue that needs to be addressed, and we're waiting for the Attorney General to rule on that. The issue is still important, and we're going to be dealing with that, but I'm hoping that that one doesn't slow things down either. So overall, I think we've got a good chance of getting out of here on time, just making minor budget adjustments and some policy decisions.
Your wife is being treated for breast cancer. In the process, what have you learned about screening and detection?
It's interesting to me that every October we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But basically in Breast Cancer Awareness Month we see people wearing pink and the ribbons, and there's fundraising efforts. And all I really learn is that a lot of women get breast cancer, they need to get mammograms, and we want to raise money for funding of the research. But I've learned over the last several months that for women with dense breast tissue, up to 60% of breast cancer may be missed just by a mammogram. That's important information for women to know because 1 out of every 3 women does have this dense breast tissue. So I'm trying to get that word out as much as possible. And this is particularly personal to me because last January my wife had a mammogram and it was negative, but by May she was still concerned, continued to push for further examinations, and discovered that she had stage 3 breast cancer. Now, I am totally convinced that God is blessing her and she's responding excellently to the treatment. I think things are going to turn out well. But if we had known this information earlier, it's possible that it could have been a much better situation. And if she hadn't pressed for things, it could have been much worse. So this is a very important and personal issue for me.
Are you working on any specific legislation this year?
Yes, I have a couple of bills that are in progress and I expect to get hearings very soon. One of them was brought to me by a constituent where the Department of Ecology came to private business and asked them to find a way to reduce emissions for vehicles while they were idling. The program that was developed by private business was so successful, not only did it reduce emissions and noise, it actually made money by the fuel savings, and with that money they were able to create more jobs and improve public safety. So because that money is now expiring, the thought came to me, why don't we have some of that money return to a bank account which could then fund other programs? And so the bill I'm promoting is going to create the account so that we can have that continuing program that's good for our environment and good for the state in general. Another bill that I'm working on stems from the problem where we see too many kids in the foster care system that just languish there, that they can't get stability in their lives. And so this bill, just to make it simple, will improve the process to make it so that if a child is going to end up being adopted, it's not stagnated, that they can get that placement earlier in the process. And then the third thing that I'm interested in, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to go, is to figure out why our state has a lower number than the national average of students that go directly from high school into college. And there are various reasons for that the cost is too high, that they're not prepared for school, and so they have to take remedial classes, or a variety of other factors. And it's an area of particular interest that I think can benefit our state.